I am dying. I need sleep. Let me do everything I can to try to get more sleep by trying to get my baby to sleep, and nothing's working. It is this vicious cycle. The truth of the matter is, when you're a new mom, especially the first few months, you either change the situation or change your mindset. If you feel crazy, if you feel like everything's falling apart because you're not sleeping, no one talks about the anxiety and the mindset shifts needed to actually overcome the anxiety, obsession, worry that so many moms, especially first-time moms, have when it comes to baby sleep. And the things that I wish I could just tell my past self, oh my gosh, I will include in this video. We are 6.5 months in to this parenthood journey. I've been documenting it since near the beginning. If you want to see on my channel, there are so many videos where I'm like breaking down, not knowing how to cope, not knowing what's going on. I had postpartum depression, anxiety, brain fog, crazy hormones, but also a lot of difficulties with our baby and our newborn. It was the hardest time of my life. But now on the other side of it, it is so amazing. I love our lives as a family of 3 with my baby too. Just love her to bits. I feel like my heart just continues to expand for her, which is so crazy and weird to say, but it's true. It's just like any person. Like, the more you get to know them, the more you love them, and the more you're like, wow, I'm changing too, you know? And so that is one, I think, really big piece to all of this, is that the baby sleep thing, you could either let it break you down because you are so anxious, like all consumed by the baby sleep stuff, or you can allow this challenge, just like any challenge in parenting or in life, to be a teaching mechanism, to be a vehicle for your transformation, to help you evolve and adapt and grow as you need to cope, but also not just cope, but to thrive despite the circumstances. And so I'm going to talk about that today, what that looks like for anyone who's watching this who's like, I can't stop obsessing over my baby's sleep. I can't stop thinking about it. All my mental energy, mental load goes to calculating her naps and her wake windows and when to do XYZ. And it's a lot, especially in our modern day, like, information world to absorb and to learn at once. And it can be so overwhelming, especially when you come into parenthood with the mentality of like, I'm just gonna treat this like any other thing I've learned before having a baby, which is like, get all the information, do XYZ, get X outcome, you know? But a baby is so different, and motherhood is so different, because you can learn all these things, but actually there's no one way, there's no one path to success that's going to work in a guaranteed method or approach or style or timing. And it's all just experimentation. It's literally all like, try this, give it some time to see if it works or not, and then if it doesn't, try this other thing. And then sometimes you can't tell if it works or not because it might be XYZ, it might be other factors. So much of it is like the mindset shift around even approaching problem solving, just realizing you're trying your best, you know, you can only do the best that you can with what you have. And also, like, babies are so uncontrollable and unpredictable, and so you can do all the right quote unquote things, even though it doesn't exist, but you can do all the things that you think are right, but then it doesn't end up the way that you want. So what I'm talking about when it comes to baby sleep is, so many new moms, this was me included, you lose sleep over trying to get your baby to sleep. You're looking up through AI, through the internet, through courses, through Reddit, through forums, you know, all this stuff. You're trying to find the way to crack the code to get your baby to sleep, when in fact that's actually stealing your sleep, because you're staying up late at night doom scrolling, thinking, I need to find the answer, I need to know, and you're relying on more knowledge as the crutch to solve your situation and your struggle. I have so much empathy for that, because I was in that same boat, and looking back, it's like, yeah, you're just so desperate and so in shock of how little you're sleeping. You find yourself somehow trapped in this vicious cycle of like, I am dying, I need sleep, let me do everything I can to try to get more sleep by trying to get my baby to sleep, and nothing's working. And then it's just this like perpetual cycle, and the less sleep you get, the less you're able to function and process and make decisions and be emotionally functioning and regulated. So it is this vicious cycle. My OB didn't tell me until my 6-week appointment that you need minimum 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep as an adult to function. And I was like, no wonder I am dying, because I'm literally not sleeping. And I've heard of other moms having to go get admitted to the hospital or just collapsing, and I could feel my body like breaking down. And so I'm trying to think like what actually happened to help me finally flip my mentality. But I think it just came with time, being cognizant of like, this is not gonna work long term, but also like meeting other moms who are like second time moms, third time moms who have multiple kids also started making me think, okay, I need to start thinking like them, because this is not sustainable. Like, when you have one kid and you're already like obsessing over their their sleep. What is going to happen when you have 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids? You literally can't do that. And so what's their secret? Because you literally need to force yourself to think like a second time, third time, fourth time mom. That is challenging when you are not in those shoes. So I literally would ask other moms, like, how do you handle it? And the overall universal answer that those moms gave me was, you just have to let it go. I can't control like when they nap or when they don't, or track every single thing. I just really have to go with the flow and try my best. But at the end of the day, it's like the entire day you're stressed about getting their sleep perfect, and then it ends up not going your way anyway, oftentimes. Or at night, you just accept that there might be some bumpy patches. Your baby might wake up, might cry, might want to feed, and you kind of just accept that reality, which is really hard, I feel, for a lot of new moms, especially for me, because I still love my sleep. I still think it's so important to be well rested, to have sleep, but I was just so not used to, it's like overnight you change from getting as much sleep as you can or want to and having that flexibility, and overnight you have a baby and you're like, suddenly your sleep is not your own anymore, and you can't control how much sleep you get because your baby has constant needs. And so you have to like just find ways to try your best to navigate it. But I think coupled with that is also realizing mentally you can do some shifts and work on them and have patience and grace for yourself to take the time that you need to reprogram your brain, because it's not going to happen overnight. It rarely does. You have to like practice thinking differently, and eventually you'll get there. But also, I will say it helps a lot as your baby grows older. Their sleep gets way better compared to the newborn days, especially the first few weeks of the newborn days. It's like, what is sleep at all? But as you progress and you gain more sleep and more sanity back because your baby's sleeping better and they're consolidating, what they call consolidating their sleep into chunks, you can also study up more on specific sleep approaches and methods to try, instead of like trying all the things that all conflict and you're just like losing your marbles over all of it. So I'm gonna read real quick this message that I wrote another struggling mom who was asking about this on a group I'm in. She was like, how do you not obsess over baby sleep? Because I also had the same question too. I was like, how are moms functioning when all I can think about all day is my baby's sleep and how they're sleeping, how to get her to sleep, and what am I doing wrong, and how to adjust, wake windows and nap times and schedules, and like, how does a schedule even work when she doesn't stick to it? I was just losing it. Like, I could not figure out how to do it. And so this is what I wrote her, and I wrote this at 5 months. So now we're 6.5 months. So this was about a month and a half ago. I said, OMG, this was me for 4 months. Seriously, I was stuck in this obsession and it's hard. I realized a lot of it was honestly a coping mechanism from the trauma of extreme sleep deprivation in the newborn trenches, and how badly I just did not want to go back there. I just did not. I had to do anything I had to or could to not have the extreme sleep deprivation that just like led me to the brink of insanity. That's how I felt. So I was like so traumatized by that I was basically afraid of it. I was paranoid of not having sleep. And in reality, our baby is constantly changing. There's so many factors in sleep that you just cannot control. You can do your best in trying to do XYZ, but at the end of the day, there's so much you still can't control. Also, letting your baby go off schedule and then just adjusting as you go, which also, pro tip, Huckleberry, their sweet spot feature, which is a paid feature, but it's not expensive at all. And it's been a game changer in terms of taking off the mental load and the mental work of like calculating wake windows and trying to predict when she's going to fall asleep or be sleepy next. So you can plan around 15 to 20 minutes before that to start putting them down for a nap or bedtime. You discover by going off schedule sometimes that it's just not the end of the world. If they cry, they get overtired, have a harder time napping or sleeping, you kind of just accept things as they go and you go with the flow. And over time, it's like training your brain to relax and let go. But the more you fight it, the less your mind is able to change about how you feel and think and approach baby sleep. Of course, there are always things we can do to try to help with these things. Like, it helps that we have a dark room for a lot of her naps. We know more now, like if we take her on a stroller, we can lie her back and like pull the stroller blind thing down, and that helps. We can play white noise, and we have a portable white noise machine. So little things like that can definitely help, but it definitely takes mindfulness to know where to draw the line between what you can control versus what you shouldn't stress or bend over backwards for, if that makes sense. Like, I posted on one of the taking care of babies, I've talked about that multiple times on my channel. Taking care of babies saved our lives. I highly recommend their programs, their courses. It has everything laid out very clearly for sleep deprived parents who are like, there's too much information. What do I do in this case? And how do I do this? And what does that look like? Like, it's like a baby sleep coach program like for you all laid out. But anyway, I posted on their forums like, how does anybody take their baby out? Like, I don't get it. I see babies out, but like they aren't gonna sleep as easily or stay on a schedule, or what if it's past their bedtime and stuff. So it's just like my video I did previously about taking a baby out. I had so much anxiety about it the first few times I did it because I was like, what if this happens? What if that happens? I don't know how to do it. I've never done it. It's so new. Same thing with having your baby go off schedule. It's like you're so worried about all the what ifs. You don't know until it happens that when you let it happen, you take your baby out and let them not nap or skip a nap, or you let them stay out past their bedtime, and then you just learn by facing the fear head on that it's not the end of the world, and that sometimes surprisingly your baby actually will sleep better, which has happened multiple times for us, keeping her out late, and we're like, oh boy, it's gonna be a rough night, and then she comes back, she's a little fussy, a little tired, but then we rock her to soothe her, and then we put her in her crib, and then she just knocks out and she stays asleep. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does, and we're like, wow, we did all the wrong things and it still turned out fine. And another huge thing I've been learning as a new parent, truly the only way to overcome fear and anxiety, just like I said, is to face it head on instead of trying so hard to avoid it at all costs, because this creates an endless what if scenario and cycle in your brain that leads to fear and worry living rent-free in your brain. And then lastly, I said, I think another thing related to this is really realizing that a root fear I had about not having enough sleep was being too tired in the day. I could technically make it out for a nap, but I actually internally did not want myself to nap. Why? Because it made me feel unproductive or lazy. I refuse naps, as an adult. The truth of the matter is, when you're a new mom, especially the first few months, naps should be embraced. You should give yourself full permission to nap as much as you need, to not get chores done, to have your place look like a mess. It's just, again, these unrealistic expectations we've placed on ourselves, seeing these highlight reels on social media, thinking like we need to have everything together like XYZ, but you are just not going to get enough restorative sleep at night, and you need to make it up during the day. But then if you don't nap during the day and you're not sleeping at night, you're going to be not functioning. You're a zombie. And so what is your relationship with napping? Because once I realized that, I was able to more and more let go of things that aren't urgent and be okay with letting them go, like doing laundry or doing the dishes. I used to want to like do it right away if I saw it, but I was like, I need to prioritize rest right now. I'm just like, I am really tired. Also asking for help from my husband or other friends. Also giving myself permission to just veg out and rest when I need to or want to. Just yesterday, actually, in the morning after my baby took her first nap, I actually just laid down and took a nap myself because I was like, I'm tired. We've had a packed past few days, even though I've been sleeping pretty well at night, but sometimes you're just so exhausted and so you need a nap, and that's okay. But I think, I always resisted naps growing up in college and after college because I just assumed like I need to be productive. I need to be doing things. And it's like, you really need to shift your relationship and change your relationship by telling yourself like, I am allowed to nap. Naps are good for me. I will be a better mom if I sleep, if I get rest, versus if I don't. I relate with a lot of people's fears around baby sleep. There's a lot more I could say about this subject, so let me know in the comments if you have more specific questions, but I just wanted to share from my heart and my experience. You can be so caught up in the nuances of like getting everything right, like it's a science, when really it's an art. It's like something that ebbs and flows. You have to like try different things and let go of different things and just accept how things will go. At the same time, there are things that you can do also to try. And for us, like gentle sleep training by taking care of babies, their approach changed a lot of our experience when it came to sleep. I barely stressed about my baby sleeping because she knows how to put herself to sleep. She sleeps pretty well during the night as well, which is amazing. We even weaned her from night feeds, which is amazing. She gets all the calories that she needs during the day, and I am a happier mom. My husband's a happier husband and dad, and we're just like overall a happier family because my baby is also getting the rest that she needs. Because I am getting more sleep, I'm more able to focus on how to take care of her and make better sound decisions and think more rationally and straightforward and be more mindful about what's going on. Just everything is like so much better when you're sleeping more. So if you feel crazy, if you feel like everything's falling apart because you're not sleeping, first of all, I'm really surprised you would watch this video all the way, so props to you. Thank you for being here. But second of all, let it go of any expectation that you need to have things together, because that's unrealistic. That's a lie. Third, just relax, rest, learn to let go, because eventually you're going to have to adjust your mindset. You either change the situation or change your mindset. You can do both, but you can't change both right away. You need to just like let time take its course and work on it over time. Give it time. I hope that helps. Let me know if you're a parent, any of other related experiences or tips. Please share them with other parents down below. Share them with me as well. I would love to hear from you. And if you're a new parent and you're struggling, or a soon-to-be parent and you have more questions about this, feel free to drop them down below and I will do my best to answer. Follow along for more first-time realistic motherhood, and I'll see you guys later.